Chapter 61:37. When they heard that Charlie also wanted to give $100,000. Elaine and Jacob were excited beyond words. Elaine couldn't help but applaud and cheered. "Oh my, what a day it is today! Good things happen one after another. I have long heard that Dubai is a shopping paradise. And it will be very enjoyable to go shopping there." After saying that, she looked at Jacob and asked him, "Do we need a visa for Dubai?" Jacob thought for a moment. "I don't think so." "Great!" Elaine was even more excited and said quickly, "No need. I say we pack your luggage today and leave tomorrow." After saying that, he got up and went back to his room to pack his things. Jacob quickly stopped her. "Don't worry, you can't just leave. There are many things that haven't been determined yet. Flights, air tickets, and hotels all have to be booked in advance, and we have to do the homework online first. Checking all the things. Where is fun and shopping, and then choose the most convenient hotel. Also, we have to see if there is anything fun around Dubai, and plan how long we will go there this time." "Yes, yes, yes!" Elaine suddenly realized and praised. "My husband has thought it through. Why don't we hurry up and take a look now?" Jacob said, "We are not in a hurry for a day or two. Although there is usually nothing going on in the meeting, I want to go out to play. So I must take care of the meeting in advance. I have to arrange things well. And I have to say hello to President Pei. He is currently walking around in activities. The position of future president is mine. I have to pay attention to the influence I have in the meeting and not let others feel that I don't take the association seriously. Besides, I still have to wait for Irvin to reply to me." Elaine asked curiously, "Why are you looking for that Irvin? Have you started raking in antiques again?" Jacob waved his hand. "I'm not looking for him, he's looking for me. I can't explain the specific things to you in a few sentences. So don't worry about it. I'll urge him as soon as possible tomorrow. In addition, I will also do my homework for Dubai in the evening. I will try to get everything done in 3 or 2 days, and then we will set off." "Okay." Elaine was uncharacteristically different this time. She didn't question Jacob's remarks, nor did she find opportunities to make sarcasm at every sentence of his. But said in a very common sense, "You are going to be the president of the association soon. So you really need to pay more attention to the impact. I don't have many plans anyway. Just coordinate your time and let's go." Jacob said with a smile. "Okay, I'll make a rough plan for you later." After saying that, Jacob stood up and said impatiently, "I'm going back to the room first. I have to take a notebook to check and write down this kind of thing." Elaine subconsciously stood up and said, "I'm with you." In fact, Elaine wanted to take advantage of today to talk to Jacob about a lot of things. And simply let him move back to the bedroom. After all, the two have been separated for a long time. During the Cold War period, no one paid attention to the other. So the separation was natural. But now that they have reconciled, there is no need to continue to live apart. However, Elaine thought about it carefully and realized that she could not take the initiative to say such words. Otherwise, it would be a shame. It would be best if Jacob took the initiative to make a move. If Jacob loses face for a while, Elaine thinks it doesn't matter. She will think more about Jacob now. It is normal for a gentleman to want to save face. So it is better to wait for 2 days for the two of them to go traveling together. They can take the opportunity to go out together and naturally stay in the same room in a hotel. In this way, it will be more natural to sleep in the same room again when they come back from the trip. The next day, Peter, who temporarily stayed at an express hotel near Antique Street, came to Antique Street early in the morning. Although he asked the vendor to help him find a shop yesterday, he also knew that it was unlikely that others would really help, so he still had to rely on himself for everything. Yesterday afternoon, he found a lot of shops in Antique Street saying they were for rent or sublet. He thought that the business in Antique Street was not that easy now, so as soon as he arrived at Antique Street in the morning, he went to those sublet shops to understand the situation. When Antique Street was at its peak, the domestic antique market was also at its hottest. People who were looking for antiques still can't help but slap their thighs in excitement when they think of those golden years. In that era, a pair of 1-1 walnuts cost at least several thousand yuan, and a good one could even cost tens or even millions. A Z bead, as big as a child's little finger, can start at tens of millions, and can even go up to hundreds of millions. The key is that there are really unfair people who buy it. The most ridiculous thing is that a few years ago, a cultural toy called the Dripping Lotus entered the market and was sold at a sky-high price as soon as it appeared. Later, people discovered that the toy was actually a southern roadside landscape plant seed. Many of the vendors in the Antique Street now entered the industry at that time. In that golden period, it was difficult to find a shop in the Antique Street and a small storefront of less than 20 square meters. Not to mention the rent, the transfer fee alone was as high as dozens. 10,000. It is common for larger shops to have transfer fees of several million. However, now that the antiques industry is experiencing a downturn, more than half of the shops in Antique Street will not receive transfer fees at all when they are transferred to external parties. Only good shops in core locations can still charge some transfer fees. Peter looked around and fell in love with a two-story shop that was being transferred. The location was good, and the area was decent. Each floor was about 50 square meters. The downstairs was now occupied by the operators who used it to sell agate, jade, and some unpopular cheap gemstones. And the second floor is the bedroom where the operators live. The other party's quotation for this shop is a transfer fee of 150,000 yuan. And the remaining 3 months of the lease period. After the lease period is up, the landlord will renew the lease at a price of 200,000 yuan a year. The annual rent of 200,000 yuan is not expensive. But the transfer fee of 150,000 yuan is somewhat outrageous. So Peter said to the other party, "I have an impression of your store. When I was at the antique shop, this store had been open for a long time. The contract you signed with the landlord must not have been 200,000 yuan a year, right?" The other party replied, "I have been running this store for almost 10 years. When I first took over, I paid a transfer fee of 300,000 to the previous tenant. And the rent was 250,000 a year. Later, the business became difficult. The rent had been reduced all the way to 180,000. But the landlord now regrets it and plans to increase the rent to 200,000. I really don't want to do it anymore, so I don't want to renew my contract with him. The transfer fee of 300,000 back then is now 50% off. As long as 150,000 yuan comes with 3 months' rent, the price is already very low." Peter nodded. Although the other party's words were accurate, he did not question the authenticity of the other party's words. The only thing that made him doubtful was, this is the current value of this shop. The original transfer fee only represented the original market price. And the current price has nothing to do with the original transfer fee. It is only related to the current market value. This is the same logic as the stock. Judging from the current business situation in the Antique Street, it is impossible for such a small shop to receive a dime in transfer fees. The reason for this is also very simple. When business is not doing well, many stores are losing money. Most businesses can only hold on while trying to sublease because their leases and rents have not expired.